And now for bar graph, let's stay focused on this part here. It is actually a chart with rectangular bars of length. This is very important. That is proportional to the frequency of the class that they represent. Okay, well, it can be vertically or horizontally, and each bar must be of the same width. So as we observe this example here, which shows the sales of the coffee and tea in 4 hours in a certain morning. Things to look out for would be the title, equal width for the bars, the gaps between the bars should be uniform, axis must be clearly labeled. Okay, if there is unit, that would be good. So as we move to look at the questions, describe the company's performance in the third quarter of the year. This particular bar graph shows a comparison of the expenditure, that means how much the company spends, and the revenue, how much they earn. So when we look at the third quarter, which is here, do you see that the expenditure and the revenue are the same? Yep, and that is what we are looking up for. So we could just describe that the expenditure and the revenue are equal. So there is no profit or loss made. Okay, so that's for the third quarter. Which quarter though? Is there a profit? So when we go back to this particular bar graph, then we must see that the revenue is more than the expenditure, and therefore we can see that this happens in the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter. Was the company profitable in its first year of operation? So from the graph itself, right, we can immediately see that the expenditure overall is more than the revenue made. So the answer to this is no. As the expenditure is more than the revenue. So what was the trend of the company's revenue over the 4 quarters? So since we are talking about the trend, let's go back to here. You can start to see that the revenue. So we just focus on the revenue in this case. Revenue. What is happening to the revenue? So what do we see? We see that at the start, the revenue is lower than the expenditure. But towards the end, at the last quarter, the revenue is higher than the expenditure, right? So eventually we could say that the revenue of the company increases to be higher than its expenditure towards the end of the year. And we shall now move on to the next example on line graph soon.